If this is your first time visiting, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Your support means the world to us. It helps us continue sharing more incredible stories. Today I'm going to open up about something I've kept buried for years. A memory so strange, so conflicted, that even now when I replay it in my head, I wonder if life itself wasn't setting me up in some twisted experiment. Because life has a way of pulling us into moments we never expect. Sometimes, without warning, we find ourselves walking a razor-thin line between what feels right and what feels dangerously wrong. Not because we want to, but because of the circumstances we're thrown into. Have you ever felt that unsettling sense that the universe is nudging you toward a choice you never thought you'd face? That's exactly what happened to me. Almost as if the world around me was smirking at my confusion and I, helpless, was just its pawn. And it didn't begin with fireworks or drama, but on an utterly ordinary Saturday afternoon. I remember it clearly because it was such an unremarkable day. No birthdays, no deadlines, no plans. Just one of those lazy weekends where time drags and even the hum of the dryer feels louder than it should. I wandered into my closet, determined to clear out old things and build a pile for donation. Jackets long out of style, shoes that pinched, sweaters that smelled faintly of another era. And then hidden in the back, I found it. An old miniskirt. I lifted it up, startled. I hadn't thought about this piece of clothing in years. Once upon a time, it was part of my favorite outfits, back when confidence came easily, when my life revolved around nothing but freedom, laughter, and nights that stretched endlessly. That was a lifetime ago. Definitely not my style anymore, I whispered with a small laugh. But the fabric wasn't just fabric, it was a relic. A reminder of who I used to be, a version of myself I thought I had outgrown. On impulse, I slipped it on. It felt almost like stepping into a time capsule. I didn't expect it to fit. But when I turned to face the mirror, I laughed softly. It clung tighter than I remembered, hugging curves I never used, to have emphasizing spots I wished it wouldn't. And secretly, some I didn't mind. It wasn't about looking good. It was about curiosity. A harmless experiment, or at least that's what I told myself. Then came the knock, sharp, unexpected. I froze, heart racing. Who could that be? I glanced at the clock. No visitors expected. My hair was messy, no makeup, and here I was in this skirt. Not exactly presentable. Still, I opened the door, and standing there was Ethan, my nephew. But he wasn't the boy I remembered. Ethan was 22 now, tall and confident, nothing like the awkward teenager I once babysat. His casual smile had the kind of warmth that could disarm anyone. In one hand, he carried a tool bag. "Aunt Claire?" he greeted, cheerful. "You called me about the leaky faucet, remember?" And just like that, I did remember. I had asked him to fix the sink in the guest bathroom, but I'd completely forgotten he was coming by. "Oh, right," I stammered, suddenly hyper-aware of my outfit. But instead of pointing it out, I forced a laugh and waved him inside. Yes, bathrooms down the hall. As he stepped in, his eyes flickered, just for a fraction of a second, before he looked away. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe not. But the glance left something hanging in the air, invisible yet heavy. Ethan set to work quickly, kneeling by the sink, rolling up his sleeves as his strong arms flexed with every motion. I tried to busy myself in the closet again, but I couldn't ignore the strange current in the atmosphere. Do you know that feeling when someone's gaze lingers just a fraction too long? That's exactly how it felt. I told myself I was overthinking. He was family. I shouldn't assign meaning to fleeting glances. But then his voice rang out. "Aunt Claire." He called from the bathroom. "Could you give me a hand for a second?" I hesitated before walking over. The space was small, almost claustrophobic. He crouched low, wrench in one hand, pointing at the stubborn faucet. His sleeves had been rolled higher now, and I caught myself noticing details I shouldn't. "Could you hold this steady while I loosen it?" he asked. I leaned in, and suddenly our shoulders brushed. The closeness was impossible to ignore. His warmth radiated in the tight space, sending a shiver through me I didn't want to acknowledge. I focused on the faucet, but when I risked a glance, I saw it. His eyes weren't just on the pipe. They flicked toward me, quick but deliberate, as if testing boundaries. I swallowed. "Everything okay?" He hesitated, then flashed a relaxed smile. "Yeah, all good." But the air told another story. When the pipe finally gave, he stood wiping his hands. "All done," he said, smiling. But there was something different in it this time. Something heavier. Then casually, he remarked, "I don't think I've ever seen you wear something like that before." My cheeks burned. This I tugged at the hem awkwardly. Just something I found in the closet. I was about to donate it, but curiosity got the better of me. He didn't answer right away. He just looked at me. Really looked. And then, in a voice softer than usual, he said, "It suits you." I blinked, caught off guard. "Oh, thanks, I guess." Flustered, I escaped the bathroom, desperate to put space between us. But his footsteps followed. "Aunt Claire," Ethan said, voice hesitant now. Yes, I turned, pulse racing. He studied me, as though searching for courage. Finally, he asked, "Do you ever feel like things happen for a reason?" "What do you mean?" He half laughed, shaking his head. "Never mind, forget it." But the weight in his voice wouldn't let me forget. That night, I tried distracting myself with TV, but my mind replayed everything. His glances, his words, his smile. I scolded myself. Stop imagining things. He's family. Then my phone buzzed. A message from Ethan. "Hey, Aunt Claire, can I ask you something?" I frowned uneasy. "Sure," I typed back. His reply came instantly. "I keep thinking about today. About you." My stomach flipped. Shock, confusion, and something else I refused to name. I typed back quickly. I was just trying on some old clothes, but his response came just as fast. "You looked really good. I mean it." My pulse quickened. "Thanks, Ethan." "That's kind of you to say," I sent back, hoping that would end it. It didn't. I don't know how to explain it. But today I felt something. Did you? I froze, breath caught in my throat. This wasn't innocent anymore. He was crossing a line. I wanted to shut it down. But before I could type, another message appeared. Forget it. I shouldn't have said that. I exhaled shakily, half relieved, half unsettled. But deep down, I knew it wasn't over. The next morning, I tried convincing myself things would return to normal. Coffee in hand, I tried to shake off the unease until the knock came again. I opened the door and there he was. Ethan. But this time, he wasn't smiling. His expression was serious, unreadable. Hands shoved into his pockets. Ethan, I said carefully. What are you doing here so early? I was in the area, he replied. But we both knew that wasn't true. Without another word, I stepped aside. He walked past me, straight to the couch, leaning forward with his elbows on his knees. The silence between us was thick, pregnant with words neither of us wanted to speak. Ethan sat there, elbows on his knees, eyes fixed on the floor, as if wrestling with words. He wasn't sure he should say. I lingered by the doorway, unsure if I should break the silence or let him speak first. Finally, he looked up, and when his gaze met mine, my breath hitched. There's something I need to tell you. He began, his voice low, steady, but tinged with nervousness. I tried to steady myself, forcing a calm smile. All right, I'm listening. He hesitated, his jaw tightening. Then the words tumbled out. Yesterday. I wasn't imagining it. And I don't think you were either. My pulse quickened. Ethan. No, hear me out, he cut in, his tone urgent but gentle. I've been trying to ignore it for a long time. Pretend it wasn't there, but yesterday when I saw you, it felt real. Like something I couldn't push away anymore. I stood frozen, torn between shock, denial, and the unspoken pull I didn't want to admit. This is wrong, I whispered, shaking my head. You know it's wrong. His eyes softened, but his words carried a quiet intensity. Maybe. But sometimes what feels wrong doesn't mean it isn't real. Don't you feel it too? Even just a little. The air was suffocating, thick with tension. I wanted to deny him, to end the conversation right there, but my body betrayed me. My silence was louder than any confession. Ethan rose from the couch and closed the space between us. Not fast, not reckless, slow, deliberate, like he was giving me every chance to step back. I didn't. When he stood just a breath away, I finally found my voice. Ethan, if we cross this line, there's no going back. He leaned in slightly, his eyes never leaving mine. Maybe we were meant to cross it. For a moment, the world outside ceased to exist. The ticking clock, the faint hum of the refrigerator, even the weight of what was right or wrong, all of it blurred into nothing. There was only the electric charge between us, pulling, daring, waiting. And then my phone rang. The shrill sound shattered the silence like glass. I stumbled back, startled, fumbling for the device on the table. My heart pounded when I saw the screen. It was my sister, Ethan's mother. I froze. Ethan's expression flickered, torn between frustration and fear. The phone kept ringing, its sound sharp, insistent, almost accusatory. I stared at it, torn. If I answered, I'd have to steady my voice, pretend nothing was happening. If I didn't, questions would follow. Finally, I swiped to answer, pressing the phone to my ear. Hello, my voice was thin, trembling, despite my best effort. Claire, my sister said, warmly. I just wanted to check in. How are you? Oh, and Ethan? He didn't stop by this morning, did he? He said he had errands. I swallowed hard. my eyes locking with Ethan's as he stood there, still waiting, watching me. My words faltered, my heart thundered, and in that suspended moment, with my sister waiting for an answer and Ethan's gaze burning into mine, I realized the truth. Whatever this was, it wasn't going away. I drew in a shaky breath, forcing a steady reply. Yes, he's here. But what I didn't say, what I couldn't say, was everything else. The line between us was no longer intact. It had already blurred broken, and there was no telling where it would lead.